And white lambs for his delight. Sweet Jesus, the Lord of my life. What shall I bring for the sweet holy child who smiles as he wakes from his sleep? Roses so fair and a soft wing and warm, all these the young Jesus may keep. Songs for his joy and delight I shall bring. All of my heart for this dear little thing. Love and devotion, the tribute I bring. Sweet Jesus, the Lord of my life. Lay no lie, thou sweet holy child, I bring thee a lullaby song. Dreamless thy slumber, for curtains are still, the wise men and shepherds have gone. Far in the eastern sky shadows appear. Hush, little princeling, there's nothing to fear. Soft as an echo, thy name I hear. Sweet Jesus, the Savior of the world.
Good morning, Unity of Payson.
Good morning.
Good morning to Unity of Payson virtual as well, both in person and virtual. I'm Rev Neal Worthington, and I'm delighted that you're here today. Can you tell it's holidays? Here in the Central Arizona Association of Realtors, we have some Christmas-looking things, as there are a bunch of ornaments at the back, all made by, I'm told the name is the Ladies Auxiliary. Anyway, it was a bit of craft activity, and they're beautiful. So please do get yours if you're here in person before you go home. A little contribution to Unity of Payson. This is the season of Advent, coming, expectancy, excitement. And today we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about life at its best, at its very best. But as we gather, everyone that is here and everyone that's with us virtually, would you take a moment just to breathe, to savor the life that you have physically, and to savor the spiritual life that animates us, that invigorates us, that makes us truly alive. God of all goodness, we are grateful for every reminder that we are alive and we have opportunity to live life to the fullest. We have tools to do so. We have guidance to do so. And we have the power to do so. Power even to overcome those things which haven't worked very well for us. Life at its best. Bless us in this season as we celebrate the Christmas holiday, celebrate light, life, love. We are so grateful. Bless each one who is with us here today. We are grateful for their presence. And so it is.
Well, I can't hear you.
Amen.
They're already in service.
Good morning again. My name is Donna, and I'm your platform associate today.
So,
Welcome. I'm glad you're with us this morning. Do we have anybody new online?
There's no one new.
Okay. So let us say our prayer for those who have yet to find us and for those who are here with us. Together, we love you, we bless you, we welcome you. And now it's time for our opening song, "O Come All Ye Faithful."
Yeah, that's us. You just have the little picture of us. I don't know what the rest of the people are getting. If you want to put us on the big screen. Oh, come all ye faithful. Will we and sing? Will they sing?
Now it's time for gratitude. We're using this iPad as a monitor so we can see the lyrics also. So we're grateful for those who support Unity of Payson with your time, with your talent, and your treasures. We are also grateful for the events of last week, which included the morning cafe every day, 9:30 a.m. on Zoom. Nonviolent communication as a spiritual practice once a month. What's it all about anyway? And let's play cards and games. We're thankful for the technology that allows us to meet both in person and virtually. Unity is grounded in meditation and affirmative prayer. We have trained prayer chaplains to support you. Our chaplains are available to pray with you if you have a prayer request. You may call or text your request to the church phone. The number is on the screen. The screen is a little slow today. It will be there. Okay. Our prayer team and Silent Unity will join you in prayer for 60 days. All prayer requests are held sacred and confidential. Please leave a phone number or email with your request, and the chaplain will contact you personally. If you would like prayer support today, and you're here in person, please connect with one of our chaplains who are here. So you will see they are wearing the prayer stole. The Unity Worldwide theme for December is life. Life is the infinite endowment of God. And eternal life is happening now. Today's speaker is Rev Neal Worthington, and the title of his talk is No False Steps, Mind the Guardrails. We have special music from Phyllis Papanow and Sherry Cowell singing. For our metaphysical moment, I'll be reading from the Daily Word. I believe today's word is joy. Truth transcends our physical experience of life and of our world. Please join with me as we consider this expression of truth. Joy. I feel fully alive and joyous. Would you say that with me together? I feel fully alive and joyous. Big smile. And I attend Teresa's Tai Chi class online. She does one exercise where we have an inner smile, and we bring that out. So when I go like that, I'm thinking about the inner smile. I feel the joy of God within me as a gentle spring, bubbling up within my heart and bringing energy to all I do. This reassuring feeling is a sure sign that I am living in harmony with my true spiritual identity. I discover joy by connecting with the Christ within. As I become a greater conduit, I find renewed kindness and love to share this holiday season. I express compassionate love as I align my heart with the great heart of God, which beats with a steady rhythm of joy. I share joy through service. Every day offers an opportunity to make a difference by lifting up others with a considered gesture or a quiet word. Each act of kindness fills my heart with joy. And from Isaiah 51:3, for the Lord will comfort Zion. Joy and gladness will be found in her, thanksgiving and the voice of song. So again, I'm going back to the inner smile. At first, I thought Teresa wanted us to smile while we were doing the exercise. And I didn't like that. Don't tell me to smile. I don't feel like smiling. But I realized it wasn't the outer smile she was talking about. When she said big smile, she was talking about the inner smile. And that changed things. Because then I was in charge of, if I'm smiling internally. And I could be, and that would bring an external smile to my face. So there's three places. One is at the heart level. I don't remember two places right now. One is at the heart level, big smile, and one is at the lower, the solar plexus dantian. So I just remember that. And if you think about it and you do that movement, it kind of does bring openness to you. And, I don't know, a lightness, brings a lightness, moving the energy like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so that's my share about joy today. So, now our speaker, Rev Neal Worthington, will share the message with us.
Tom, if you can put up the next slide.
All right.
If it will come up.
It'll come.
We're a little slow this morning. I think it's the cold.
There you go.
There we go. You all recognize this. This is only 5 hours from Payson. This is the Grand Canyon, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. Notice the boundary, the guardrail around where at this beautiful viewpoint, Tom, what viewpoint?
I think it's Mather's Point.
Mather's Point, it may be. This beautiful view with a guardrail for safety, for security, to keep people on their journey as they travel through. This is just one stop on the journey. What a gorgeous view. The idea of the Grand Canyon makes us think how big our world is if we look out at the vast vista there. And it also reminds us of how time even doesn't affect life. This life that is resident in this Grand Canyon goes back millions of years. So big it is, so exciting, life at its very best. I remember when I was a teenager, I first visited the Grand Canyon. And I think it must have been at this very Mather's Point that I have a recollection. Of course, I was awed at the Grand Canyon. And as I began to move out and approach the point, my childhood fear of heights just took over. I was absolutely scared of heights, but particularly being on the edge of a precipice. So I took and inched my way forward, reached out, grabbed that handrail for safety, and then back. Because I didn't want to. Because I had an exaggerated sense of what the guardrail was. And didn't even trust the guardrail at that point. However, we do have guardrails for every journey, whether it's a journey to the Grand Canyon, but more importantly today, a spiritual journey. We remember that we are primarily spiritual beings, not physical beings. And it's that spiritual journey that's so important. As Donna spoke of, we work from within. Even joy, even the smile comes from within first. It happens in consciousness and then it out pictures into our life. So as we consider this today, think of life at its greatest coming from within, from spirit. And we have some things that we can observe about avoiding false steps, using the guardrails, staying on the path. So about the path, we talked about spiritual journey. I'm sure all of you know that at one time or another, Unity has said we honor all spiritual paths. We do. That's the excitement of Unity for me, one of the great excitements, that all spiritual paths are honored. And we know that each one of us has a different spiritual path. It's unique to us. Expression of the divine it is, but a unique spiritual path that we express. So that spiritual path, I like to think, is articulated best in the Christian scriptures in John, words attributed to Jesus. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the way, the truth, and the life. So it's that way we talk about. It's that journey. It's that spiritual journey from the Christ presence within us. That I am, when you hear that, connotes the Christ presence within, the higher self, the divine self that is in all of us as we are divine expressions. So if we're on that spiritual journey, if we're following that path, we're going to get the best picture. We're going to get the biggest picture. We're going to get the safest picture. We're going to get the best possible travel experience of being on a journey. So that's the path. Well, what about the idea of false steps? Or I even like better missteps. I named it false steps to start with, but I think of missteps. But when I think of missteps, I go a little further and I think of the word that we often use, errors. I'm not big on transgressions or sin even, but I love the idea of errors. Error is something you can always correct. You can always come back from. You can always turn back to the path as you will. So those false steps, those missteps, those errors, that began in mind as well. They began in our consciousness. Those false steps can be recovered from it. How do we do that? We do that with guardrails. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The guardrails is going to prevent us from any calamity, any scrapes or bruises, any consequences that are unliked if we observe the guardrails. We get to experience that exciting life that's there for us. Let's talk a little bit about guardrails. So we all have guardrails. They're things that help us stay on track. There are things that when we bump up against those guardrails, it kind of points us back into the path. The guardrail, if we stay with it and stay close to it, we may be bouncing along that guardrail and we may have indeed some scrapes, some bruises. If we ignore the guardrail or hop over the guardrail, the consequences can be, well, damaging at the very least. So the guardrail has an important function. I'd like to talk about 3 guardrails today that we have. First guardrail is our human ability to be aware when we're off the path. So I know that all of you must have had times when something was coming up, something was ahead of you, you were making a decision, you were making a choice, and you had that sinking feeling in your stomach. Even your physical body can give you some guidance with regard to this. You may have the hair stand up on your arms. Physical bodies, great help, sensation. That'll give you a little guide rail. It'll give you a little idea. Then there's the emotions, your feelings. When you're feeling just off, or when you're feeling anxious, that may in fact be a guardrail for you. Your emotions playing that role of guidance. And then there's also the spiritual guidance we're talking about. Remember, we're still talking about the spiritual journey. But those physical things can aid us in our spiritual journey, to stay on the path, to experience life at its best. And then there's the spiritual guidance. I'm sure that many of you have a guidance practice, if you will, in your life. Perhaps it's an opportunity just to be quiet and to listen. Just to be quiet. That's very basic and available to all of us. Or you may have a more dedicated meditation practice. And when you do that, you get guidance from it. You may have a spiritual guide that you've identified, an angel guide or a spiritual guide. I do. Well, I'm going to tell you the secret. Mine is Hector the elephant. Been with me for about 40 years. A spiritual guide. Whatever it looks like, it's that from within, that intuitive knowing, that divine knowing coming through. It's available to each and every one of us. You could be someone who takes a pendulum and douses with it to find it. We could do some muscle testing. All of these things coming from the intuition, as we call it, but the divine within is another way to state that. All of these are guidance and guide rails. And I'd also not want to miss one that's very important here for us in Unity of Patience, and that's each other. We are guardrails for each other. Anybody remember Ram Dass? Read a little bit of Ram Dass? wonderful spiritual teacher in 1970 or so. He wrote a book called Be Here Now, Staying in the Present. One of the quotes that I take from him that I love the best is, we are all just walking each other home. We are all just walking each other home. We are guides for each other. We are guardrails to keep us from getting off the path. If you have a friend that you share that with, maybe you have a prayer partner, or I know there's some gratitude partners here. These partners, these friends, and this spiritual family, even here on Sunday morning, as you listen, as you absorb truth, as you take the love of the people in the community that's here, and that love goes out to you that are with us virtually as well. It's a little bit different. We're learning how to use that. These are guardrails. So the question is then, why would we need a guardrail? Well, would you really like to avoid some of the damage? Maybe you've never had any consequences in your life that just put you down for a little bit, made you have to breathe hard and grasp to get back to the path. If you use these spiritual guardrails, observe them, it's going to help you to avoid some of those things that just don't work for you. In fact, they may be very traumatic and they may hurt you, at least for a time being. Use the guardrails. Remembering also that if we get off of the guardrails, it's an error. We can recover from it. But we've shortened or we've lengthened the time that we have to continue on our journey. We've had to halt it for a little bit. We have limited it in some sense when we get off that path. So we don't want to do that. Very important that we avoid getting off the path. If you stay on the path, you're going to get most directly to where you're going. Now, sometimes the journey is where you're going, not necessarily the destination. But if you stay on the path, if you observe the guardrails, then you're going to get where you're going much more directly. And then finally, you're going to live life at its best. Oh, it's so tantalizing to say, man, if I just ignore this guardrail and I'll go on. So let me give you an example. You know that what's productive in your life, I'll speak about my life. I know what's productive in my life is to input into myself things that are spiritually nurturing. I also know that I sometimes get on Facebook and I start a track and it's more than an hour later then I'm off of that track because I watched this video and that video and this and that and everything. Not really horrible, but it just doesn't get me where I want to go very directly. So the important thing, I think, with these guardrails is they're going to help keep us on that path. That may not be a disastrous thing, or it could be pretty serious, but let's stay on the path because we more directly can get to where we want. That includes life at its very best. The spiritual expression of the divine in this world. Think of when you may have been happy. You may have felt a sense of purpose. You may have just known you were in the best place you could be. It's when you were on the path. It's when you were experiencing life at its very best as spirit came through you and exhibited in your life, in reality, in this physical reality. So I like what is a translation of something that's misunderstood often from the Christian scriptures. You remember the Lord's Prayer. And you remember that phrase in the Lord's Prayer, lead us not into temptation. Whew, that's a tough one for me when I say lead us not into temptation. Because I don't like that, and I'm looking for what we've got here. The translation of that I like is from the Aramaic. It doesn't talk about drawing us into temptation or taking us off the path, but it talks about this. Instead of lead us not into temptation, it says, don't let surface things delude us, but free us from what holds us back. So easy with what we see with our eyes right in front of us, thinking that is the ultimate reality, but it is not so. Don't let those surface things, which may be taking you off the spiritual track that you really would be on, don't let them delude you. Stay free, not by hopping over the guardrail and going willy-nilly, but stay free to stay on that path and move forward and upward. Come up higher, come up higher. Hear that song. So there we are again on the Grand Canyon. If we observe the guardrail, man, we stand there, we think and wonder, we're not climbing over those guardrails. We're not endangering ourselves. 5 million people visit the Grand Canyon every year, and most of them observe the guardrails. It's a wonderful experience for them. 5 of them a year on average don't observe those guardrails, and they fall to their death. So I say, avoid the missteps. Use the guardrails. Use that spiritual knowing, that spiritual guidance that comes from. Use your humanness. Use your emotions, your physical body, your sensations, and use your family. Use your spiritual family as guardrails. You'll experience life at its best if you do so, and so it is.
Now it's time for meditation. Please prepare a meditation song.
Phyllis, unmute.
Just one line before. No.
I have traveled many moonless nights, cold and weary, with a baby inside, and I wonder what I've done. Holy Father, you have come and chosen me now.
I love the quiet. Here in this room in person, there's a holy hush right now. Maybe much like we imagine it was in Bethlehem. That breath of heaven doesn't come from the stars, but it comes from within. It wells up within our soul and expresses out into the world. So today, as we spend a little time in the quiet, feel that holy breath within you. What does it feel like? It's energizing, it's vitalizing. It moves us ahead. It calls us up higher. So imagine with me that you've begun a journey, an exciting journey. You know some possibilities of the journey, but you don't know all of the details. But starting out with that breath of heaven, you begin down the path. You take a journey similar to what the shepherds might have taken from the hillside as they made their way down into that lowly stable in Bethlehem. So the story goes. And the wise men who came from afar, taking maybe 2 years to arrive, as the story goes. They could have been diverted 100 times. Those shepherds could have turned back, turned aside, thought of things they needed to do, but they stayed on that simple journey. And the wise men on that lengthy journey. So as you begin this journey, not knowing exactly how it's going to go, note for you, what are guardrails? Are they what you input into your consciousness? Are they the company you keep? Are they awareness of your body? Are they listening to spirit within? See yourself going down the path, going over first one hill and then another, and a beautiful vista lays out before you. Out of the side of your eye, see some things that might tempt you, but hang with the guardrails, knowing that the journey is going to be so much more worth it than any detour, any little aside. You want to go directly. You want to stay in that very sweet place of a richly guided path. Take a moment just to see yourself wandering, no, not wandering, intentionally moving down that path, or going anything that would disturb or distract you. Take a moment now. Feel yourself, see yourself walking down that path. See the many surprises that come up for you. See the sense of great life that's there, and turn from what doesn't contribute to that. Spend a few times in the moment, in the silence, just noting your spiritual journey. This path is the way. This path is the truth for you. This path is life itself. True life of spirit. And now bring your attention back to this time, the place where you are. Remembering how exciting it was to be on the journey, to stay with the path. So wiggle your fingers and your toes and open your eyes. I'm going to carry with you that feeling, that sense of the divine expressing through you in life abundant. And so it is.
The different songs in my mind. One is the holy hush is a holy hush. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. And I also have the silent night going through my mind after the song, The Breath of Heaven. Very nice. And I was introduced to Unity in 1985. And so I really know that this is my path. And I am still. Now is the time to share our gifts and offerings. Unity of Payson appreciates your gifts.
Yes, and I want to just say a word. Do I get to buy it?
I guess so.
It's the holiday season. It's the end of the year. And it's a time when you, who are so generous in so many ways, and we appreciate that, have an opportunity to do a little something extra. It's the giving season. And so we appreciate the year-end gift, whatever's on your heart to do. We appreciate it so much at Unity of Payson. It's an opportunity for you.
So these gifts not only support our community, but they go out to the larger community as well. As you listen to the offering song, you'll have time to make a contribution. The offering basket will be passed here in person. And if you're attending virtually, the information for giving is on the slides. You can go to unityofpayson.org and click on the donate button. Please bring your awareness to your gift at this time and call to mind your heart's desires. And together, let's affirm, freely we give, and freely we receive. Offertory songs, What Child Is This?
What child is this who laid to rest all Mary's timeless sleep? Whom angels greet with anthem sweet, while shepherds watch on thee. makes his presence known. 'Tis only then that all is hushed. He comes unto his own.
Now it's time for the dedication of our offering. It's coming. We're grateful for these gifts and for the givers. These gifts serve as abundance, our remembrance of the abundance that is available for us. We bless these gifts, we bless the givers. And we see these gifts returning tenfold to the givers and out to bless the world. And we say together, divine love through us blesses and multiplies all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. We are abundantly prosperous. We give thanks. Next Sunday's speaker will be Dr. Donna Steckel, licensed Unity teacher. And the title of her talk is Let's Do What Gives Us Life. L'chaim to life. So I will share a few announcements, but there are many things happening. Please check the website at unityofpayson.org or the Monday newsletter that comes by email for all the details. We have this week, Tuesday, December 21st, A Course in Miracles at 6 p.m. Okay, the first announcement is about the Christmas ornaments. So we have in the back, we have on the tree, bells and balls, so deck the halls. And we have in front, on the front table, we have flakes and trees, please. And then we have little stockings for your stocking stuffers. And so these will be a donation to Unity of Payson. And there will be someone sitting there to collect your donation in the back after the service. So so far we've made over $60 in sales. A Course in Miracles. You ready for that?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Thursday, December 21st at 6 p.m. And that continues. You want to say anything about that? We have Let's Play Cards and Games on Thursday, December 23rd at Kay's Place at 1 to 3 p.m. Easy cards and games to learn. Please call her to confirm attendance. The number's on the screen. We have Highway Cleanup Thursday, December 23rd at 4 p.m. We also have a prayer chaplain meeting Thursday, December 23rd at 11 a.m. on Zoom. And we have a Christmas Eve candle lighting service Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. on Zoom. And you can get to Zoom by going to unityofpayson.org and clicking on the Zoom link. Monday, January 3rd, 4:30 p.m. is the first event for Happy Hour, Humor and Heroes. And I believe that is also on. And in February, there are 6 Tuesdays, I will be teaching virtually nonviolent communication as a spiritual practice. And I will be integrating Unity teachings with the practice of nonviolent communication. Register at unityofpayson.org under the events. There's a link to the events. And we also have 5 powers available for our Christmas Eve candle lighting service. I'm going to tell you what the powers are, because if you haven't signed up to take one, please let us know. Please let Neil know after the service. We have wisdom, release, will, strength, and understanding. And basically what we'll be doing is reading about those powers. Whoever has that power will read about it when we light the candle virtually. Okay, P.S. from Neil.
I want to stay on that Christmas Eve service for a minute, and then Tom, I want you to go back to the slide with me. And, well, let's go to the annual meeting. Come back to Christmas Eve. The annual meeting is the 2nd of January, that very first Sunday in January, and we really want you to be here with us. It will be after the service, right after, a little time for socializing, and then right into the membership meeting. We will stay on Zoom, so if you're with us virtually and would like to sit in on that meeting, you can do so. If you're a member and we'll do a little voting, we have a way you can do that even online, with a little bit of a poll so that we can register your vote if you're a member. We also will be honoring some new members on that day. They're just getting started with us. 60 days before they can vote to upset the apple cart, but we're delighted to have new members who are with us, both virtually. 2 of our 3 new members coming in are virtual members. They live far from Payson at the moment. So note that on your calendar. Make sure to be here or to be with us online. Then I'll go back to the Christmas Eve service. We have something new happen at the Christmas Eve service. We have the premiere of the Unity of Payson virtual choir. Jennifer has been working hard to get some recordings of 3 songs, and we have 3 songs that we've put together, and a number of voices that she somehow mixes all together. So it's virtual, but we want you to be at home, hear the choir, and sing along. It's going to be an exciting new thing, and it's just a lovely time on Christmas Eve to take an hour out just in the quiet to observe the sense of newness of life, the sense of the Christ within being born in us. So be here with us on that. I think that's it for our announcement. It is time for our peace song. If you're here in person, please stand. If you're with us virtually, sing along with us. We have somewhat of a virtual choir on this sometimes, but today we have Phyllis and Sherry with us. We're going to lead us in the peace song.
They want you up here leading peace song.
To be with all God's
that music.
I think the whole thing is off.
Well, they're still going, they're still talking.
Still talking.
Not supposed to be on. Some kind of glitch. That's why I didn't like so. I don't know if I'm supposed to play or not. I'm just gonna play. They can mute me if they want.
Audience of 1, 2.
What happened there for a leisure?
So is it?
Are we off?
I don't know.
It's joy. I